Yeah.
I guess COVID-19's over with then, as far as I can tell. But this new thing is taking that off the front page, so I guess we're done with that.
For the moment.
Well, I mean, if you listen to the news, Dallas has had the last four days. I believe they've said they've had more cases of COVID-19 has been going up in the
Oh,
last
really?
4 days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I hadn't seen
Today
any-
was a new high.
Today was the new high.
Wow, I hadn't seen any news about it.
Hmm. People are starting to all of a sudden think everything is okay, everything is safe, and all this demonstration and stuff going on downtown. These people, some of them weren't wearing masks, some of them, everybody was close together. I mean, I turned down a gig with somebody if it was a wedding reception in a backyard of a house across the street from a friend of mine, and I there's going to be like 50 people, and I was like, no, I don't want to do that because I don't feel like it's safe yet.
No. Are we live on Facebook now?
Hotel.
Yes, we are.
Want to make sure.
Hey, Carrie. Hey, Carrie.
Here's Kerry. He's got a song tonight, guys. It's a good one,
All
too.
right.
He sets the bar pretty high.
I know that's right.
So does Michael Roth.
Turn it up, Carrie. We can't hear you. Oh, you got to unblock your microphone.
There he is. Oh.
Hello.
I don't see.
You got to set your vocal there, Kerry, so it's not coming through. Here's Barb. Hang on here. What's Barb doing?
What I like it.
Barb was coming on, but I missed her.
Carrie's microphone's still blocked. There it is. He's trying to talk.
I don't see a Carrie. I don't on my end. I don't see Michael.
Put it on gallery view
Sometimes you have to scroll down.
or scroll down. Yeah. Put it on gallery view. You see everybody.
Okay, I only had 6 on the side. Now I see it. Okay, sorry about that.
I can imagine what this would be like with like 30 people on there. You're supposed to be able to get like 49 people on the screen at one time.
Wow.
Can you?
At work, well, we don't use Zoom, but at work we use Microsoft Teams, and you can get 9 on. So far we have 9 on the screen. So, but I've seen some meetings that Alan and I've been in that you have to go to the next page to see more people.
Yeah.
No.
Well, that'd be fun.
So,
Yeah, I think there's an option on Zoom to how many people you can see on the screen too. I
49 people.
I stumbled across that the other day.
Well, how can we get Carrie's volume working here?
I don't know. He's got a setting there somewhere that
Wait.
My little tablet that's on.
Carrie, can you hear us?
Yeah.
Oh, we hear you now.
We hear you now. Say something.
Yeah, I had to reset my headset. Yeah, Zoom doesn't like my Cisco headset since they're competitors, I guess.
Well, you sound good.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, we use WebEx and Microsoft Teams at work, so I've always had trouble with Zoom for some reason with this computer.
yeah.
So, is anybody, you're talking about work, and is everybody Zooming their work, or anybody going to offices to work, or what?
Here comes Joe.
We're not. I do a Microsoft Teams call every morning at 9 o'clock with my office.
Okay, but you don't go to an office then?
I started having to go back Monday to my office.
On Monday you go
2.5
back?
months. I was working from home for 2.5 months.
Yeah.
and Monday we had to start going back in the office, but we still have to
Hey,
do
Joe.
the team meetings on the computer because they won't let us use the conference rooms, the board room, the meeting rooms.
Right.
Can't use the kitchen.
So
Uh,
what kind of office is that? Is it what do you do?
I work for a mechanical contractor, a mechanical firm that does engineering, heating, air conditioning, plumbing. We do new buildings. You know, we
Yeah.
construct new buildings. So
So you got a staff in house and then people out in the field, I guess.
job sites, yeah.
Yeah.
We worked. They considered us essential. So when all this started, you know, we were still able to work. None of our job sites closed, but everybody in the offices had to go home and work from home. So, and I liked it working from home. I didn't really want to go back.
But there's a lot of people that way.
Yeah.
I don't think I could have a job where I didn't work from home.
Oh, yeah, I'm spoiled now, really.
I've been doing it for so long, it would be hard to go back into an office. I get too much work done, you know, working by myself. It's like you go into an office, or like when I'm with our sales teams and stuff, it just, I never get anything done
Yeah, there's too many
because
distractions.
everybody's chit-chatting, you know?
So you've been doing this before the COVID thing and everything.
Yeah, I permanently work from home, and then I go to customers, you know, sites and stuff on a regular basis.
Sounds like Sam.
Yeah. What do you do, Carrie? What kind of work is that?
I'm in the sales engineering team for a communications company.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. that'd
We
be-
sell stuff like this. We sell the WebEx and the, you know, telephone services you can use over the internet, and contact centers and stuff like that. And it's all done over the internet and over the network now. You don't even have to. We've been turning up a ton of remote contact center agents, so people who take, you know, phone calls for customer service and stuff, they can do it from home.
Mhm.
And we sell a lot of Cisco stuff. It's our main thing.
So you're way ahead of this game.
We're waiting for Barb and Bobby. I wonder what's
Sam, do you always work from home yourself also?
Well, wherever my laptop is, that's my office. We have a bureau in Dallas, and I have an office there, but I usually work out of there maybe 2 days a month. Otherwise, I'm here.
Yeah. That's pretty cool.
But I actually had to put on a pair of slacks this week and go visit somebody. So it's my first visit since mid-March.
Does that mean you don't have pants on now?
No, I don't have slacks on now. I am wearing regulation shorts. In fact, they're cargo shorts, so they're out of style.
Well, you know, I get up I have to be, when I was working from
I
home,
was waiting for y'all.
mine at 7,
Everything okay?
and I'd get up at 6:45.
You're not going to join?
Let my dog out. 7 o'clock, I was working. Now I have to get up
Okay,
and
so
drive 25 miles. And
God, I couldn't imagine commuting.
Ooh.
well,
It's just not as bad as it was, but
I get up very early, and I'm at my office at 6, so I can leave at 3. So I
Joe's here,
miss
okay.
a lot of the really bad traffic.
okay. Well, you're watching. We got it. It's streaming on Facebook.
How about you, Michael? Do you always work from home, or you having to go back to an office?
Yeah, we just started a while ago. It's
Me?
streaming. It's on there.
Well, I'm retired,
Is
so
Bobby coming, or is he gonna? He's not coming too.
There you
I'm mostly doing songwriting right now, but I'm thinking, you know, maybe I'll end up at Walmart at some point.
go. Yeah.
Hey, you could be a contact tracer.
there you go.
Yeah,
They're paying. I heard between $17 and $21 an hour.
Wow, that's
For
good.
contact tracers.
Who is paying them?
Huh?
Who is paying the contract tracer?
I don't know what companies are, how they're being hired. If it's the city or the county, you know, I don't know exactly. I did hear that on one of the major news channels last week. They were talking about they needed to hire like 4,000 contact tracers. And you know, since all this, there's a restaurant right up here that I go to a lot. Sam and I actually went there the first day they opened up from all this. And when we walked in there, they have a tablet with a form on there, and you have to put your name and your phone number, number of people in your party, and your email. And one guy was fairly upset. He didn't want to sign the form, but it's just to keep track. So if something does happen, and they do get somebody that tested positive or whatever, they can go back and research that and be able to contact people. So I guess that was their form of contact tracing. But I was rather impressed that they would pay somebody that much money to do that. So I don't know how exactly where you get hired for that.
I don't know why they're doing that, since they could probably just do it through credit card information if they need to.
Or your phone.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's how they're doing it in Europe.
Credit puts you in a location. It puts you at the place.
Yeah.
Right.
But you say, impressed that they're paying that much, we're paying that much.
That's right.
There's nobody out there, there's no benevolent God out there saying, I'm going to hire an army of contact tracers. It's coming out of your pocket.
They're just firing the printer press up. That's what they're doing.
Yeah.
Oh boy.
About 10 trillions worth. Come on.
Whole nother discussion.
I'm out in New Mexico, so I don't know if they pay that much. So probably it's probably about a third of that.
They pay in Mexican food.
Yeah.
Well, how about you, Joe? How's your business? Is it people coming in and getting stuff recorded, or how's it going there?
Well, I'm busy. I'm as busy as I can be. Not a lot of people coming in. People come in to sing, but I'm working on. I got about 20 tunes stacked up to do.
Yeah.
And we have singers in, and so yeah, it's no real problem. But there's not an army of people beating down the door to come
Right.
in.
Well, you got natural social distancing at your place anyway.
Yeah, and we were real careful all along, so it's I haven't seen anything around here, so I think we're all good. I'm welcome. I had one guy who was a stranger come in, but he said he, hadn't been anywhere and done anything, so I got to him his word. So, some of my clients are older, and got to be careful because I'm older.
Yeah.
I can't get
older.
a musical I'm doing for Lady in Pittsburgh, and there's 12 tunes in that, so that's like 300 hours of work. So
yeah, cool. Very nice.
God bless, we're doing okay. Linda's working from home most of the time, but she's on full pay. And although the Best Buddies, her nonprofit, has taken a huge hit,
Yeah.
because nobody wants to give to mentally disabled, mentally challenged kids when you could feed somebody from COVID, or I don't know what you give to the rioters, but whatever. Charity's down.
Yeah.
But hopefully it'll bounce back. If you're at Albertsons this month, there'll be a Best Buddies box. Do you know what Best Buddies is?
No.
They provide companionship, jobs, and guidance for mentally challenged kids, mostly with Down syndrome kids, and more severe autism. A lot of times when they get out of high school, the high school is very good these days, and kids in high school are very good these days, with social interaction. When you get out of high school and all the kids go to college, and there you are, all alone, no friends, no nothing. So Best Buddy kind of comes in and tries to provide companionship programs and work. So it's a great non-political, great charity. So if you're in Albertsons, you see a little box, toss 100 in there.
Okay. Why not?
That's for a month.
My company has hired 2 different people that you're describing, and they work part-time, and they help out, and they do the coffee, and
Hey, Bobby.
do things like that. And it's helpful for them. One guy was really, really shy. He didn't like to talk. He was uncomfortable, people talking to him, but he kind of,
Yeah, I'll just tell you the number.
It was a good thing.
Yeah, and
Do you get Zoom? You know how to do Zoom, right?
turn off your audio, Mike.
Oh.
Yeah, and there's different levels. Some Down syndrome kids, but almost all of them, everybody should go see the movie Peanut Butter Falcon, because it's an amazing movie and it's great. But, most of the people I meet in that program are really nice. Some of them are shy, but the best buddies help them get over that. And most of them are really good workers.
Yeah, that's
Most
true.
of them are smart too. I mean, some are savantish.
Mm-hmm.
So you know, that's you just got to get past the initial. I'll tell a little story. Then I'll shut up. When I was in college in North Texas State, we had a band, and they invited us to the Denton State School to, I think it was called Ward 2, to play. And we went, and we set up on a stage in an auditorium, and then they said, "Well, we got to warn you that these are your severely disabled people." And we thought, well, okay. And then we're talking like elephantitis, and you know, 2 heads on one side. I mean, stuff like you'd never see at all. And you know what? Once they all got in there and we got to playing, you know, you kind of forget. Everybody's enjoying the music. The kids that couldn't hear got close to the speakers so they could feel the vibrations. Totally dug it. So we went going back 4 times, and it was a shock at first, but not for long.
Yeah, that's
You
very
know.
cool. Very cool.
They were digging it, and
Yeah.
I think people are more accepting these days. But enough of Best Buddies. Just remember to shop at Albertsons and give to the Best Buddies.
Yep.
Oh, no, I told Mike to turn off his thing. Harry, what are you doing?
Just sitting here listening to y'all talk. But Barb's not going to be here. Barb's sick. She's watching it on Facebook. And Bobby's trying to get logged on. He said he didn't get the email message. Did anyone not get the message about tonight?
I got Barb's email.
Yeah. Let's see. I got. Let me check.
I got yours, Harry.
It went out to the new, the Dallas Songwriters Google group. It's the new broadcast code. It was also posted on Facebook. It's a permanent number.
I got yours, Harry. I got it.
Bobby said he didn't get it.
And
I got Harry.
Sam, didn't you say you weren't getting emails from Harry or what?
Nope, I have yet to get an email from you.
How lucky you are.
Well,
I've gotten Michael, and I've gotten Barb.
we changed the group code, and it went out to the group code. It's a Google group code.
Maybe I'm not in there yet since I'm still new.
I think we got a lot of people that's not on that code, Michael.
We gotta check that email list or something.
I don't know who does that, who puts that together, but it's kind of frustrating because people get pissed off at me for not sending them stuff when I send it to the group code.
Would that be Ben?
I don't know.
I think Barb sent out, I think, the original message, and you had to click to join the Google group, with a Google login. So
yeah.
Well, I noticed, Harry, you sent the last thing you sent was to the Dallas Songwriters at Yahoo groups, and there's also Dallas Songwriters at Google.
Yeah.
Do both work? Does Yahoo still work?
There's two different groups.
I sent it to the Google.
Google.
Today I sent it to Google.
No, this is at Yahoo groups.
Oh yeah, that's the one I got was Yahoo. Well, we got to figure that out.
Yeah, I don't think I'm in any group yet.
You a Cowboy fan?
Oh, yeah, I'm a season ticket holder.
Who said that?
Me.
Sam, you're a season ticket holder?
Yep, I've got a paving stone in the shadows of Tom Landry's statue that says "Fan since 1965."
Wow.
nice.
That's my splurge.
So, did you pay for that, or does AP pay for that?
Oh no. Just remember something about Associated Press. You can't spell cheap without AP.
Oh, I got you.
No, I bought them myself. But what I do is
You are a real fan.
I sell usually about 4 games a year at exorbitant prices, and that pays for the next season.
There you go.
Oh, Harry, my email came from Yahoo groups.
I guess I did, but I tried like hell to put it on that Google thing. It always
Harry at Gmail, YahooGroups.com.
I know, but it's for some reason, and every time I try to send it, it defaults over that Yahoo address.
computer.
It's called Murphy's Law.
Murphy.
It's confusing as hell when you try to switch that stuff over.
Well, Bobby's trying to get on. How about Barb? Is she getting on?
She's sick. She's not going to be here.
Barbara's sick?
She's sick.
Well, we don't care. We're
She
miles
does.
away from her.
How are you feeling, Alan?
Huh?
How are you feeling?
Oh, pretty good. I'm just getting comfortable.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm using my tablet, not my computer. So I can be lazy.
Well, does anybody have any questions, comments about anything coming up or going on? I have a couple little things to share with you.
Share 'em.
Yeah, apparently we're going to do a live thing at opening bell. What, next Wednesday? Is that right, Harry?
No.
No.
No more opening bell. They close at 7.
Oh, then what was the live thing then? Oh, that was at Love and War.
That's Love and War. Yeah, we're doing Love and War live.
Love and War
It's
is live.
on the 4th Thursday.
I was thinking opening bell's live too. I saw something from the other day. I thought they said they were open.
They have something on Tuesdays that starts at 5:30. They do a 5:30 to 7 thing. I'm not sure if that's all live or on
all right.
Zoom or something.
I thought we might be included in that, but bring your own mic kind of deal. But we are making preparations to do the Hall of Fame live. That's supposed to be September 19th, and we're trying to prepare for going live if we can. If we can't, then we can't, or whatever happens. But we are going to try to do it live on September 19th. I believe that's the date. Saturday
We'll
night.
do it dead, Mike.
What's that?
If not, we'll do it dead.
If we're not, yeah, that's right. We'll do it dead. There's a guitar show coming up at the end of August, end of July, first part of August. The Dallas Guitar Show down at Market Hall. Y'all probably aren't a lot of big guitar, fans, and I think Bobby's going to try to set up a booth there, but I'm probably not going to make it. I'm still not convinced that it's safe for old guys like me to get out, but who knows? We all may be wrong.
Let's see how many protesters get sick.
Yeah, that'd be a good measure.
Yeah, they aren't social distancing, are they?
No.
No, it doesn't seem to be.
Although I'm surprised at the number that do wear masks, and some I've seen they look like they're trying to social distance.
And why are they wearing the masks?
Yeah, of course, there's different reasons, right? I was just thinking that the other day. I was wearing a mask going to the grocery store. I thought, dang, if I was a robber, this would be a great mask.
Many people agree with you, Mike.
They should have had these back in the Old West.
But the Antifa guys, they always wear the same, from the time they started, they wear the exact same, masks, face treatment and stuff. So pretty easy.
What I want to know is there certain senior hours for looting?
Yeah, they get the early hours for the senior looters. Senior looters, 7 to 9 in the morning.
There's a guy standing in front of a store, and cop drives up and says, "Is that your store?" And he says, "Well, if you're opening up, you're under arrest." And the guy thinks for a second. He says, "Oh no, I'm just a looter." Cop says, "Oh, okay, carry on." And then I hear churchgoers are masquerading as protesters to avoid arrest.
Well, I was hoping Bobby'd get on by now. I don't know where Bobby is.
Well, we need to get on with this, don't we?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'd like to hear what Sam Moore's got to say, because he's kind of in touch with some other songwriter organizations and got the pulse of something else going on in the world that we don't often get to hear about. So, without any further ado, I'd like to have Sam talk to us about what he knows about with the songwriting world these days.
Well, I appreciate it. I appreciate you guys asking me to talk a little bit, and I actually reached out and talked today with Bart Herbison. He's the executive director of Nashville Songwriters Association. And by the way, he offered anytime we want him to come on, he'll be happy to come talk to us about his views on songwriting and, you know, what's going on around the country and around the world. So,
Right. What's his name again?
Bart Herbison, Herbison.
Bart Herbison.
Yep. He is a great guy. I thought what I'd do I'm not going to take a lot of time to talk, but just for those of you who aren't familiar with NSAI, I just thought I'd very briefly tell you what that is, because I'm the regional director for the Dallas chapter, and NSAI is the largest songwriting organization in the world. It has chapters in 60 countries. So
Wow.
It's not just country music. It's a little bit of everything. There's kind of a perception that it's a country music organization, but it's really not. It's everything. I've been to some of the presentations they've had there, and I've met the guy, I can never remember his name, the lead singer for the Doobie Brothers. I met the guy who wrote all the hit songs for Bon Jovi. So, you know, you get to see a little bit of everything. Met the guy who wrote Before He Cheats for Carrie Underwood, which was really funny. Anyway, it has three goals. The organization has three goals. Number one is to protect and promote the rights of songwriters around the world, whether you're a member of NSAI or not. Bart spends half the year in Washington lobbying for the rights of songwriters, and he'll bring pro songwriters from Nashville and around the country up there to work with him. Usually they're board members of NSAI, and they'll just, you know, work and convince the congressman that, you know, you need to vote for this. Two of the things they've really done lately is they were promoting the Music Modernization Act to help get better payments for songwriters for their streams. And just lately, they promoted and got the rights for musicians to be considered for the coronavirus payments, because technically they wouldn't be eligible for it because they're not eligible for unemployment. So they pushed for that. So that's the type of things they do to help. Number two, they promote education of songwriters, help you become a better songwriter. And they've got a ton of stuff to do that. And then number three, if you're interested in being published, they show you the ropes, show you the guideline. They don't promise to do it to get you published, but they at least let you know, here's what you need to do to get it done. So I've been a member, since about 2003, and I've absolutely loved it. Been associated with the Dallas chapter probably now for about 10 years. We formed the Dallas chapter. When I joined NSAI, the closest chapter was in Fort Worth, and I live in Plano, so that was a long drive to make those meetings every month. And I met Trish Matthews once, and she said, well, you guys need a Dallas chapter. And I said, what do we do? And next thing I knew was I was running it. So so that's how I was nominated to be the chapter director. So
and you've been doing that for quite a while, I guess, too.
Yeah, since the chapter formed. So it's been about 10 years. And it's been a ton of fun. I've really enjoyed it. Some of the things NSAI's done since coronavirus started, I told you about the relief pay for the musicians. They also, in lieu of some of their big training things like Song Camp, that's one of their big training things they do every year. They're now doing online training for songwriters, and they're doing more online and virtual presentations. They're doing everything they can to help promote songwriting. I wanted to cover three quick trends that have been going on before the coronavirus ever hit, because I think we need to look at before coronavirus and after coronavirus. Number one is there were fewer songwriters actually making a living in Nashville because of the way the industry's gone, with not as many albums, not as much recording, more streaming. They just can't make as much money as they used to. And so a lot of the songwriters have moved out. Bart told me he's actually seen a little bit of a bounce back to that lately. He's probably seen about 25% of them coming back now. So it's kind of bouncing back from a low point, but there aren't nearly as many songwriters, just living as a songwriter in Nashville than there were 10 years ago.
You're talking about the songwriters that are hired by the different publishers to write songs, or just
Oh, just songwriters.
freelance?
I'm a pro songwriter. Let me write a song and pitch my song. It'd be like if any of us moved to Nashville and said, I'm a songwriter, let me make a living, those kind of songwriters. Number two, there are more songwriters that are doing co-writing, fewer songwriters that write on their own, more co-writing, and in Nashville, more are co-writing with performers. And that's a real key. He said, if you want to be successful as a songwriter now, you got to co-write with the performers. One of the things that performers have been doing, since they're not recording as much, and not getting those royalties from the album sales, is that they're trying to co-write, because that way they can get a little bit of the mechanical royalties from the co-writing. Some of them are good co-writers, some of them are not good co-writers, but he said actually over the past few years a lot of these artists have become better writers. They've had to become better writers just from hanging out with the pro songwriters. And then number three, there are actually more individual songs getting, as he says, they're getting out there through streaming and and various streaming platforms. So he says those are some of the trends he saw going right up to coronavirus. Now, this is where it gets to be bad news for songwriters. He said this obviously it's had, and not just songwriters, anybody in the music industry, it's had an incredible financial impact on the industry. No one is touring, clubs are closed, nobody's recording albums, and that is having a big impact on performance royalties. Number two, many of the clubs that have been around for years and years and years may not reopen. I don't know how many of you guys have ever gone up to Nashville and spent much time in Nashville. One of my favorite clubs, Douglas Corners, announced it will not be reopening. This was a place where some of the biggest names performed. I met a lot of really good songwriters in Douglas Corners. Matter of fact, I was in Douglas Corners one night. Steve Seskin was doing a thing there, and somebody asked me if I were a pro songwriter, and I told them I was from Dallas area, and I said, what's your definition of a pro songwriter? They said, well, have you performed in public? I said, yeah. They said, have you ever sold a CD? I said, yeah. They said, has anybody bought you a beer? I said, yeah. They said, you're a pro songwriter. So that was their definition. So it was a neat place. They had this lady behind the bar who yelled at everybody and sold bad pizza, but it was an atmosphere that you just loved. So
Where was that located?
oh golly.
Downtown, was it?
No, not downtown. It's like more close to Nashville, East Nashville.
On the other side of the river?
Yeah. It's on the other side of the river. And it's right across the street from a comedy club, as I remember. So, but it was not a great part of town, but it was, that's what a lot of those clubs are like that, So they have their own little ambiance. Another big thing, special events have been canceled or postponed. NSAI itself, their biggest fundraiser every year is Tin Pan South, where it's a songwriting seminar for members, and then it's the largest songwriter festival in the world every year. Tuesday through Saturday night, 10 clubs have 2 shows a night. Each one features 4 pro songwriters, and no songwriter performs more than once during the week. That's how many pro songwriters participate. And it's just y'all come on in, sit down, we'll tell our stories about our songs and play our songs, and we hope you like them. And then after the show, you get a chance to go up and talk with them, meet with them. I've developed some good friends just by doing that. It's really it's incredible. I went up once. Steve Warner was getting ready to perform, and I told him, told him how much I enjoyed him. I said, I actually saw you back in the 80s perform with you opened for Barbara Mandrell in Baton Rouge. He said that was September 8th, 1985. It was at the LSU Assembly Center, and it was the Barbara Mandrell After All These Years tour. I went, oh my God. He says, I don't know. I just remember stuff like that. So, but a really, really good guy. So you get a chance to meet a lot of neat people that way, and you get a chance to learn a lot about the industry. So anyway, things like that have been canceled. We were supposed to do that in March. We were supposed to go to a songwriter festival in Ozark, Arkansas last weekend that Lance Carpenter puts on every year. Lance is a great success story. He was just a member of NSAI, sitting there listening to all these things that I go to and listen to every year. And then he got a job up there with one of the companies writing songs, still an unknown. And actually, he won the American Songwriting Magazine songwriting contest one year. So then they hired him up there. And one night he was writing with his old roommate and this girl who worked as a writer. And they wrote this song, and they needed a female to record it. And they said, we need somebody sassy. She says, well, I can be sassy. So she recorded it. And it was Love Me Like You Mean It. And the girl he wrote with was Kelsey Ballerini, and it was his first #1. So, but now Lance is a real good friend of our chapter of NSAI. We brought him to Dallas, and he's talked to our group and played a New Year's Eve show here. And he plays out at the Cowboys every year. He's a big Cowboy fan. So anyway, another guy you get to meet, and he does that festival every year, and it's been canceled. So just examples of things that are going on with that. Everything is backing up from a performance standpoint. When people can begin touring again, it's going to be a problem because Bart was telling me this, everybody's going to want to tour at once. And not many people have new material because there's no new material out there for these performers. And as Bart says, they always like to record their new material, put out their new CDs or whatever in the springtime to set up their summer tours. Well, everything's going to be crazy with all that once they do. And then on top of that, all these people are going to go out there and perform. Well, a bunch of the people who like to go out and see them have been unemployed. They're not going to have the money to buy tickets on a regular basis. And then when you throw 2 and 3 times the number of people out there at one time performing, they're just not going to draw the people. So he sees that's going to be a problem. And he really thinks it's going to take 3 years for the music industry to find its new normal, which I thought that was pretty interesting. He said right now everything's kind of rocking back and forth. Mentioned there's not a lot of product out there, new product being produced, and that's also impacting mechanical royalties. And then he says right now, even when clubs can open back up at 50%, that's not going to help. And he uses Bluebird Cafe as a prime example. NSAI bought Bluebird Cafe a few years ago as part of its fundraising, and it's been a good fundraising thing for NSAI. But it's been closed. Clubs are getting ready to open back up.
Did you say they bought it?
They bought it. NSAI owns the Bluebird Cafe.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And they've opened up another one in Times Square, so that's pretty cool.
Oh,
But
really?
he said for Bluebird to break even, they have to have 2 shows a night, 65% occupancy. So if they open up and have shows at 50% occupancy, they're losing money every night. So he says, we can't open at 50%. It may be a year before we open up again. I asked him if they could sell online tickets, to help make up for it. He said they've talked about that can help, but he said, to be completely honest with you, we make the bulk of our money off of beer and t-shirts, and you can't sell beer and t-shirts with an online ticket. So the other big thing that has Bart concerned is a second wave could be coming, and that could impact everything all over again. He personally thinks New York, because of the way it's situated, has already had its second wave, but he thinks a lot of areas still have their second wave still to come. And then he saw some good things that are coming out of the silver lining. There are more songs being written right now. Songwriters have more time because, the pro songwriters still have all their time to write songs, but those of us who aren't pro songwriters find a lot more time on our hands right now, and so we're writing more. And Gigi and I were talking about that the other night. We usually may write 2 or 3 songs a year together, and in the past month I think we've written 3 songs together. and we've got 2 or 3 more started. So it's what happens when you're not going out and doing things at night, you know, and on weekends you've got more time on your hands, and it's a good way to do something constructively. He also sees as another side benefit, streaming royalties are up slightly because more songs are being self-produced and self-published. And just because there are more songs out there, that's increasing the royalties for some people. Some songs are getting out that may not have gotten out otherwise, or they're getting better publicity or better air than they would have otherwise because they're not competing with the established songs as much as they had. I mentioned that he thinks there will be a new normal. We'll have a more realistic, what he calls a water level of budgeting for the music industry. And he does think that streaming will continue to grow as things continue going forward and getting back to normal. He sees that's one thing that will continue, is streaming will continue to grow, because he also thinks that would be less susceptible to some of the problems that could be coming up in the future. So those are just some of the things that we saw, you know, just from, you know, from an overall industry basis that are going on with songwriting right now.
Wow, that's some interesting stuff.
What about commercial music placements?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
It's interesting with commercial music placements right now. You're not getting any new shows produced right now. So all of that's on hold. Now those shows will be produced, you know, what might be debuted in September now may debut in November. So everything's on hold right now. But it's still being done. I talked with, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Stephen Arnold. Do y'all know Stephen Arnold? Stephen Arnold Music is the largest producer of music tracks for television and movies in the world. Stephen Arnold's office is in McKinney. You should make an opportunity to meet Stephen Arnold. We had him come talk to one of our meetings one month. Nicest guy in the world. He came with an armload of books that he had published himself on guitars that he had seen around the Southwest. And he had all these beautiful photographs of guitars. That's his little thing. He loves guitars. But you know, he came on and he said he was talking about the Weather Channel needed a new theme package of music. And so he sat there and he says, I'm about to pick an open D chord. And he picked the open D chord, and we all sat there in amazement. That open D chord is the basis for the Weather Channel music. He says, sometimes it's just that easy. So, but he's in McKinney. It's Stephen Arnold Music. He's known around the world, and he's still going okay, you know, but he said they've had some slowdown, obviously, because there's not as much production, but he's still doing fine.
Never heard of him. Wow.
He's a really good guy.
Who was the NSAI in that used to meet at Dickey's in Arlington?
They still meet there. The Fort Worth chapter. John Terry is the coordinator there.
John Terry. Okay.
Yeah. He's a good guy. We play golf sometimes. So, but John and Gigi and I co-wrote a song together. We were up in Nashville for Tin Pan South one year, and so we all. One of the great things NSA provides in their home offices in the basement, they've got, I think, 6 writing rooms, and you can reserve a room when you're there at no charge and go in and use it to write. So we reserved 2 hours, and you know, we sat there and said, who's got ideas? And I think we used one of my ideas I'd actually gotten from my wife, which is we came up with a song called Lone Star and Shiner, and it was the fun little bar song, so it was neat. Did it in 2 hours.
Say, question just occurred to me. Where does NSAI get all their money? I mean, is it dues? Is it what? Where do they get their money from?
We get it from dues. We get it from Tin Pan South. We get it from special events. We get it from Bluebird Cafe, and we get it from I believe we get some grants because of what we do to promote songwriters, and then contributions as well. It pretty much runs on a shoestring. I think the entire NSA office is like 8 people.
I know, but when you told me they bought the Bluebird Cafe, I'm thinking they got some pockets somewhere. That's not a cheap deal.
No, but yeah, and you know, you got to pay for it over the years, but they do. They had enough money coming in that they were able to pay for it.
Wow.
but I will tell you, the majority of their expense goes to lobbying. The vast majority goes to lobbying.
So they're a lobbying group is one of their primary things.
Oh yeah, oh yeah. And you, when you look at the board of directors, they're all pro songwriters, and these are some of the biggest names in songwriting, and they're the ones who Bart will call them up and say, "Hey, we got to go talk to Congressman so and so. I need you to come with me." And they'll come up there, and he'll get a Rivers Rutherford to go up there with him, and they'll be sitting in a congressional office, and he'll be playing "There Ain't Nothing About You That Don't Do Something for Me," and that gets them all excited and helps make them realize, "You're the guy who wrote that song. It wasn't Brooks and Dunn." He goes, "No, that was me. Without me, Brooks and Dunn wouldn't have had that song." So make them understand the importance of songwriters in the entertainment industry.
Tell me again what Stephen Arnold's focus is.
He does music tracks for television, motion pictures, cable television. He does all the music for the Weather Channel. You can go on his website and it'll show you all the different things he does.
Looks like he does a lot of commercials.
Yep, does a lot of commercials. Anything that needs original music, he can do.
We had a guy talk to us at our last actually live meeting. It was back in February, March. It was March.
March, I think. Yeah.
Yeah, March. And he's a jingle writer and does that same thing. Writes music for all kinds of commercial applications.
Oh yeah, we had an interesting thing we did, and this is one of the things they do with us with our monthly chapter meetings. They give us some, if we choose to do so, some lesson plans on topics, and they give presentations that are recorded by people. And we had one a couple of months ago on sync writing, and it was the presentation was done by two songwriters out of San Diego who've really made a nice living out of sync writing, and it was stuff I didn't know anything about, and learned a lot about sync writing from them.
Do you know FirstCom?
No.
FirstCom, I think it's up around McKinney too. They were at one point the largest provider of all the kinds of things you're talking about that Stephen Arnold does.
Yeah.
They've gotten smaller, but for years, even like 30 years ago, they were the largest provider of library music and stuff.
Cool.
FirstCom, but so you're not familiar with them at all?
No.
Wow.
But that doesn't mean anything.
I guess they've gotten smaller though. But
yeah. And I'll tell you, the way I found out about Stephen Arnold was I go through Associated Press. I go every year to National Association of Broadcasters, which is the largest broadcasters convention in the United States. And one year he was sponsoring the briefcases they were handing out to everybody, and it had his logo on it, and it caught my attention, and I looked it up, and I thought, my God, he's in McKinney. So I called him up, and one thing led to another, and he came out and talked to us.
and then you wrote a song, One Thing Leads to Another.
Yeah, really. The Fix. One of my favorite songs.
Write that down. So what are the dues for NSAI?
The dues, the first time I think for the year is $225, and then it's $200 a year after that. I think I'm quoting them right. And among the things you get with that, you get 12 song critiques a year, which normally you can pay anywhere from $20 to $50 a song critique. So when you get 12 a year, you can see there's a good benefit just from that. Then you get 2 one-on-one mentoring sessions a year. You get a chance to twice pitch songs to publishers, and then you get all the lesson plans that they offer, and there's just a lot of benefit to the organization. And then when you got your chapter meetings, you get to meet a lot of good people, a lot of nice people in all ranges and abilities of songwriting. And I mean, that's how I met Gigi, and several up met Roger, met Roger Russell through NSAI, and songwriting it's not a we're going to be in this group and we're going to be in that group. There's benefits to all variety of groups. that's one of the reasons I joined DSA is because I've seen you guys for years and I see all the benefits that you guys offer, and I thought I want to be part of that. So, um,
Maybe you could help us with some ideas on, how to be more financially viable.
well, yeah, I'm not on the financial side of NSAI obviously, but I can always tell you some of the things they do.
Yeah. We're always looking for ideas, aren't we, Bobby? Bobby's our fundraising chairman too, I think.
I don't think you heard my reply, but my reply was amen.
I got a question, Sam. There seems to be a trend toward more lyric videos. Am I right on that? And do you have any comments on that?
Yeah, it's funny. It was the big thing for years and years and years, and everybody kind of got away from it, and now they're kind of starting to go back toward it again. Why, I'm not sure, but they are. I think one of the things that made it kind of go away was when Gaylord went away, because Gaylord had country music so video centric, and when they lost before, what was it before it was CMT, but before then, and all that stuff was going so strong, everybody was doing music videos, and then everybody stopped doing music videos. So but I think again, it's kind of like one of those rebound things where you find the right level. Sometimes it takes years to get to that level, but yeah, I've seen it.
Yeah, we had one of our members, Ricky Jean Wright. He was quoting someone that I think it was Sony had instructed all of their producers to every new song that came out they would do lyric videos.
Yeah, you're talking about actually putting the lyrics up on the screen.
Putting the lyrics on the screen and then posting on Facebook and YouTube and
I think
monetizing.
That's one of those things where when you're self-publishing, it's one of those things you can do. Not everybody can go out and shoot video and bring it back in at editing, but it's not that difficult to learn how to, plus, it's almost like a subtitled movie. It helps reinforce the lyric when people can actually read the lyric, and with a lyric video, they can focus on that. They're not focused on another visual. They can focus on the lyric. It's a great way to learn the lyrics to a song.
Right.
Do you think is YouTube a significant source of income for these major artists?
It's not a significant source of income, but it's an important tool to use. I just listened to a presentation. Now let me see if I can remember the guy's name. He's the former manager for Taylor Swift, but I listened to him anyway. I'm not a Taylor Swift fan, but I want to say Rex Barker, but I don't know if that's right. Rex Barker sounds too much like a movie star or a baseball pitcher, but he had this presentation about social media, and he said you're not going to make a ton of money with YouTube, but it's very, very important process in how did he put it? It's not the big thing, but you're not going to succeed without it, because you need all the parts to work together in social media. And he thinks the big money maker right now is going to be through Instagram, but you need Instagram working with Facebook, working with Twitter, working with YouTube. You really need all four of those platforms working together.
Was it Scooter Braun?
No, it
Okay.
was.
Anyway, that's okay. Rick Barker.
Yeah, that's it. Rick Barker.
Rick Barker. Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
I'm not good with names. I was a news photographer for 6 years, so I would just record people's name and then go write it down later. So I have horrible name retention.
I would think a lot of the thing, Harry, about the lyric video too is the fact that it's just cost prohibitive to go out and shoot a bunch of film and scenes and hire actors and get treatments, to develop and all this, when it's so much easier just to do a lyric video. I mean, if I can figure out how to do a lyric video, anybody can, because it's really not that hard to do.
I've done some. But
Some people are doing pretty cost effective videos. I got an email from a guy now 3 days in a row. So we have a song featured on the Broadjam platform, and he called up and wanted to do an animated video for $190. I looked at a couple of ones he'd done for $190,
That's
and
great.
man, that would have cost me,
Yeah.
you know, 6 or 7 grand a couple of years ago.
Right.
And so I'm, tempted. Stuff looked pretty good. I mean, not great, but man.
Right.
Oh yeah, my wife was a former producer director. She had shows that were on ESPN and on Discovery Channel, and the equipment that she used in the television station that cost hundreds of thousands of dollars, she can now do the same thing in her laptop here.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yeah. I personally like to see the lyric videos. I like to look at the lyrics, and when I'm hearing a new song or whatever, rather than sometimes, to me, watching a video actually, it makes me imagine it that way instead of allowing my imagination to go with the song and come up with my own imagery in my head. I don't know. I don't mind performance videos, but some of the stuff is a little,
some of these lyric videos are just really simple. They'll have like an album cover and then just scroll
Right.
the lyrics.
Mm-hmm. Right.
It also helps you realize the lyric is not "there's a bathroom on the right."
Yeah. Yeah. You can do it in iMovie very easily. Very easily. So, well, that was interesting, Sam.
Thank you.
Great stuff, Sam.
And I'll say this for NSAI as well. When all this stuff happened, one of the things that Bart has been doing, I think we've had 3 Zoom calls just for chapter directors to keep us up to date on what's going on, because they know how important it is, because we can then keep our chapter, up to date on things that are going on. And they were the first ones to tell us, don't cancel your meetings, Zoom your meetings. And so we've never, I think Dallas, we missed 1 meeting because our first meeting was like coming up. That was the 4th Monday in March, and everything shut down the 3rd week of March. So, we didn't have time to get everything set up, but, we've made every meeting since then. And last month's meeting was pretty cool. I don't know if you guys are familiar with Brent Baxter. He's a pro songwriter. His first big hit was Monday Morning Church by Alan Jackson. Oh. And he does all sorts of things. He does a thing called prosongwritergroup.com and things like that. But he also
songwritingpro.com.
Yeah, songwriting. I always get it backwards. But he's also on the board of directors for NSAI, and I joined his group as well. And we had emailed back and forth, and he saw my chapter director email signature, and he says, "Hey, if you ever need anybody to talk on your meeting, I'm happy to do it." So last month, our whole thing was Brent Baxter talking about his views on songwriting. So there's a lot of songwriter resources in the group that we really can draw on. We've had him last year, I think it was. We had Chris Wallen, who wrote Don't Blink, come and talk to our group. He was in Dallas, so we arranged for him to come talk to us. We had Lance Carpenter do a presentation to us once. We had just right here in the area, I don't know if you guys know Heather Little. Heather Little lives in Lindale, and she co-wrote Gunpowder and Lead with Miranda Lambert. And she also had 2 cuts on her platinum album, so she still stays in touch and still co-writes with her. And then we had this real neat lady, Betty Winkler Hodges. I don't know if you guys have run into her. She basically manages Jolie Holiday, if you've met her. But anyway, Betty's father was the guy who wrote Welcome to My World for Jim Reeves. And so now Betty does some record publishing and some artist managing. So she's come and talked to us. So we get a lot of neat people who come talk to our group when we can arrange it. And then when we don't have special people, then we'll have education things and then song critiques. And then usually 3 times a year, because we meet at opening bell when all is normal. Usually 3 times a year we'll forego the actual meeting and just do songwriter showcases up on the stage. And one we always do is the one between Thanksgiving and Christmas. That's always our Christmas party showcase. So those are some of the things we do in our local group.
Hey, Sam, again, forgive my ignorance, but how long have you been a member of DSA?
I joined DSA. This is my third meeting, so just over, and I joined just before that first meeting, so just over 2 months.
Oh, well, and forgive me again, but NASI, is that a nonprofit organization?
They're not nonprofit, no.
Okay, and these speakers you were naming, do you pay those guys to come in and speak to your group?
We didn't pay Brent anything. We didn't pay Heather anything. We charged admission for Lance and for Chris Wallen. When they come in person from Nashville, we don't pay for their whole thing, but we pay something toward their travel expenses just to get them here.
Can you give us an idea of what those price tags are?
We charged, I think for each one of them, we charged $30 a ticket, and we had for each one of them, I think we had about 25 people.
Okay. Guaranteed them $30 a person. Is that guaranteed the speaker $30 a person? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, yeah. And then we can, if we ever do anything, the chapter raises money. Each chapter has its own bank account, and we can draw from that from any savings we do. Each time somebody joins and joins our chapter or affiliates with our chapter, we get $15 added to our kitty. And so we've got that money available to use for speakers and things like that as well.
And you're a warehouse of knowledge and information. And we try not to reinvent the wheel, but learn from what others have done.
Oh yeah, exactly. In fact, if you guys if you guys have a second, I am going to let me open up the site and then I'll share my screen with you. Bear with me 1 second. I should have already had it open. Okay. Let's get back in here. And I'm going to share my screen, and I want NSAI and share. Okay, can you guys see that now?
Yes.
Okay, let's just go into membership and online video library. This is just one thing. So you can search whatever you want, but here are the different workshops they've done. Here's performance tips and techniques. Ellen Britton did a presentation. All these, and these are usually just on songwriters talking about their ideas on songwriting. Kylie Morgan, Chris DiStefano. And then if you go in here, this is coordinator only resources. I'll show you the two. We've got 2 lesson plans, all kinds of online training series. Okay. Here we go. For May, they had available for songwriting performance tips and techniques with Janet Kenyon, and then some exercises they recommend doing. And then here's one to focus on melody, and 2 different videos for that with exercises. April, we had stories from the songwriter. So, there's always something different for us to do. Here's one where they focused on the song idea, Tom Douglas and Alan Shamblin.
Tom Douglas used to be a member of DSA.
Cool. I've met him. He's a neat guy.
Yeah, in fact, I worked with him back in the 80s in the real estate business.
Cool. And then Alan Shamblin, of course, was one of the co-writers on The House That Built Me. Gigi and I both had a chance to meet him a couple of years ago up there in Nashville. Right. So that was really cool.
He and Tom wrote I Can't Make You Love Me.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. So anyway, you got things like that. One of the neat, just from a personal story here, let me unshare that. But anyway, that gives you just a general idea of some of the things they do. Also have a neat little store with stuff for sale, but all the different things they sell there. Okay, let me unshare. How do I, stop share, there we go. my wife Cindy, one of her all-time favorite songs in the world is "Unanswered Prayers" by Garth Brooks. Well, I had met a few years previously Pat Alger, who was the guy who co-wrote that with Garth Brooks. And so fast forward to just probably about 3 years ago, we were up there and we were at the Bluebird, and Pat Alger was doing the songwriting round, and we were sitting right there beside him, so it was all over with. I said hi to him again, introduced him to Cindy, and she told him how much she loved that song. Well, he had his briefcase and he pulled out a lyric sheet to Unanswered Prayers and autographed it. You know, he said, "Small town Friday night, you know, thanks for enjoying the song." So we've got that framed over her desk, which is pretty cool.
Not that we could compete with NASI. In fact, I see it more as a partnership, maybe.
Yeah, exactly. And that's one of the things I'd mentioned. Bart would love to come talk to us. And he does that. He'll talk with, he'll visit with a lot of local organizations, you know, a lot of songwriter groups, because there's a lot of synergy between the two, you know, and he loves talking with with Texas groups, because for years and years and years, there was this perceived block between Texas musicians and Nashville musicians, and he's worked hard on his side to break that block. You know, and in reality, there's a lot of people who have been in Nashville who are now back in Texas writing. I think of Tom Shepard as an example. Tom's the guy who wrote "Riding with Private Malone" and Redneck Yacht Club and things like that. And now he's here. I think he's living in San Antonio now, but he does most of his writing with the guy from Denton, Texas performer, not Pat Green, but I'll think of his name. But anyway, they do a lot of co-writing
Eli
together.
Young?
Huh?
Eli Young?
No, not Eli Young, just a solo performer. He did "Don't Touch My Willie," which was a song.
Sound like a Harry Hewlett song.
Yeah, he that was the song about telling his girlfriend don't touch his Willie Nelson record collection. Don't touch
Oh,
my Willie.
That's funny.
What's his name? Oh, Kevin.
Fowler.
Huh? Yeah, Kevin
Fowler.
Fowler. So he's doing a lot of writing with Kevin Fowler now.
Fowler, yeah.
So anyway, you've got a lot more cooperation now between Texas and Nashville.
Yeah.
well, we've had some DSA people go up to Nashville.
Sure, absolutely. And we've had a lot of our chapter members who have gone on up to Nashville. And matter of fact, they're affiliated with both chapters, so you can affiliate with more than one chapter. You know, I affiliate with Dallas and Fort Worth, and then John's had me come out and do a couple of meetings when he couldn't be there. So, but you can affiliate with as many as you want.
But can you identify with more than one?
Sure, absolutely. But I've got, you know, through NSAI, I've co-written with a girl in Alabama. I co-wrote with a guy in Chattanooga. You know, they weren't my favorite songs, but at least we had that opportunity to.
Well, that's very nice, very informative, very enlightening, and we appreciate it, Sam.
Cool.
Thank you.
Sam.
Thank you for asking me.
Sam, I'm sure glad you agreed to speak to us tonight. And I sure want to meet you as soon as you can at one of our meetings.
I am an incredibly nice person.
I can tell that.
That's what he
As
said.
you were giving
And you're a Cowboys fan.
Absolutely.
Big fan.
as you were giving your talk tonight, they're just light bulb after light bulb after light bulb going off in my brain
Well, cool.
about.
About time.
I know. Yeah, it's been lights are out for long enough. But I'm very interested in talking to you about some different things we might be able to mesh within our growth program. So again, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Pleasure to meet you, and look forward to talking to you more.
Cool.
All right. Well, Harry, we have some songs to listen to tonight. We have some song critiques.
We have 4 songs, and
maybe Sam and Joe could help us with the critiques tonight. Maybe.
y'all want to do that? Do
You want to
need
help
anyone else?
us with the critique, Sam?
Get out your hatchet, Sam.
Yeah, I'm already ready for my first question. What were you thinking?
Well, I guess there's
Thanks,
no.
before we start that,
There's no break, is there? I mean, we don't have to go to the restroom.
No, we don't have to. We're not breaking.
No, I say, can we take 2 minutes before we start the song critiques?
Oh,
Yes.
2 minutes? Well, sure.
Yeah, we can take 2. We can take 2 minutes.
Yeah. Okay. 2 minute break. All right. I guess admin's got to take a break.
Well, I have something that's happening outside that I have to tend to.
Take care of it.
Okay.
Just come back alive.
So I will split the screen and then we will play the songs. And,
I'll be right back.
All
everybody
right.
comes back.
And Alan's he's just lounging around there like a.
Yeah,
He said
Like
he
a
was going to
lounge.
lounge around. That's what he's doing.
this is the life. This is what I do every evening.
By the way, Michael, I sure admire your ball cap. That is a handsome.
Isn't that a nice one? Woohoo! Everybody get a hat now.
Got the old one.
I like the new one.
I got sweat stains on mine.
So how do you get the hat?
$30
Bobby's got a ton of them.
Yeah, we have them available at all of our monthly meetings, but you can order them online too.
Okay.
$20 donation.
$20 donation. We don't sell them. We give them away for
I
a $20
understand.
donation.
I understand.
We're a nonprofit. You can write it off. If you have enough
Okay.
expenses.
Waiting for Joe.
You know, I need to find out. I said they're not nonprofit. I guess I should figure that out.
I thought it was a nonprofit.
They're like Associated Press. They're not for profit, and there's a difference.
They get money. I mean, if they're bought Bluebird.
Yeah, it's like AP does. Associated Press is not for profit. That means everything that we can earn a profit, but then that profit has to be turned back into the company. And so that's what they do with NSAI. They can make a profit, but then that money gets turned right back in.
Any idea how much they paid for the Bluebird? I mean,
No idea. No idea.
It wouldn't be cheap. I don't know when they bought it. I guess the Bluebird isn't it like a space in a shopping center?
Yeah, it's in a strip center. Yeah. It's about.
They probably couldn't really buy the real estate. They probably bought the business, you know, and the assets.
Yeah, that's my guess. That's my guess.
Yeah.
So
there was a lady named Amy something or other that used to own it. Do you remember who that was?
No.
Named Amy something.
My first time there, it was packed with people, and we were sitting in the little pews up in the corner against the wall by the bar.
Right.
And we're listening to the performers, and I look over behind the bar, and these 4 guys come in, and one of them's got a couple of them have long hair, and they're obviously musicians, but I recognized them, but didn't recognize them. And then they left after about 30 minutes, and the waitress came back over, and I asked her, I said, who was that who came in behind the bar? She said, oh, that was Nitty Gritty Dirt Band.
Well, that's
I'm sure the Bluebird wasn't cheap.
Amy Curland.
What?
Amy Curland.
Okay. Amy, yeah.
Sam, does anybody ever ask you about Dave? Sam and Dave, wasn't it Sam Moore?
You know, I met Sam Moore, and somewhere I've got a picture we took together, and he autographed it to my soul brother.
Very cool. Yeah,
He's still touring. He's the nicest guy in the world.
Is Dave still with us, or
He's still with us, and he's still touring.
He's old.
No. Dave is not with us anymore, but Sam is.
okay?
Yeah.
Okay, there's Joe. We got a judge.
I got my songwriter critiquing tool.
Oh, you got the hatchet man
Very
is
nice.
here.
Trouble now.
Helps me in time.
Okay, let's see. I guess everybody's here. Did Bobby come back? I guess not. I don't know.
What
Yeah.
about
There he
lyrics?
is.
He's there.
Okay.
He's there.
Any way to put up lyrics when we do this?
Yeah, we got to split the screen.
Cool.
Split the screen.
I'm getting tired of looking at those cars, Harry.
Well, they've been parked there a long time, let me tell you.
They're probably still there.
Yeah, they're still there.
I'm trying to think of Sam and Dave's story. God, I can't think of the name of the girl that was at the Woodstock too, and they were playing, I think. And if I think of her name, the story will be more relevant. She tried to come waltzing out on the stage. She was a performer, and anyhow, when I think, what the hell's her name? She had a band, and my buddy says they looked up and saw her coming out and dancing on the stage and started calling for security, trying to get her hauled off. If I could remember who it was, it'd be more relevant. So anyhow.
Okay, we got 4 songs, and we'll just go down the list there, and it looks like mine's at the top. Now, Alexis, did you want to do one of your songs tonight? I know I've got it. Is she there still? She hasn't been talking. Okay. Well, I'm not sure. She had an instrumental that we had the WAV file on, but then we had lyrics. So
I sent it to you in a Gmail, but I had to throw it on. I had to throw it on a file on my phone and just in the bathroom and send it to you in a hurry.
So what have we got here? You have a song then?
Well, it's in your Gmail. I don't know if you have it or not.
When did you send that?
Tonight after you called me and I heard your message. I don't see it there though. Oh, yeah, I sent it. I don't see it. Well, Harry, I've had more computer problems. I still cannot get my video to work again, and couldn't print lyrics. I've had more computer problems this week, so maybe I'll just try again next time.
Okay, well, we'll get it. Just, you're talking to someone who's had problems too, so.
All right.
Okay, well, we'll start off my song there. That's the one on top. See if we can get the lyric up, and then we'll play the video. PDF file. Can y'all see all this? It'll pop up here in a minute. There's the lyric. Now it's on 2 pages. You can see there. And I'll try to make it bigger as we go. But let me get over here and start playing. It's called Dusty Devil on the Ground.
Did you just write this today?
I wrote it this week, or a couple weeks ago. I can see forever when the end is near. That dark cloud will blind me, amplify my fear. But when those angels come to get me, I'll look back and say, so long, it's been good to know you as they carry me away. The wind starts to blowing, hear my windows hum. A perfect storm is coming, no place for me to run. Big thunderhead is hiding behind that wall of brown. She ain't fooling no one, dusty devil on the ground. She was my teacher on that Texas plain. Words of Woody Guthrie, picture in my brain. Gray streaks in my hair, wrinkles in my skin. Everything I see is through a dust-covered lens. The wind starts to blowing, hear my windows hum. A perfect storm is coming, no place for me to run. Big thunderhead is hiding behind that wall of brown. She ain't fooling no one, dusty devil on the ground. That building was my shelter, stood so straight and tall. Tornado could not kill it, twist but never fall. 1,000 miles between us, hear that eerie sound, like a freight train in the darkness, nobody else around. The wind starts to blowing, hear my windows hum. A perfect storm is coming, no place for me to run. Big thunderhead is hiding behind that wall of brown. She ain't fooling no one, dusty devil on the ground. Sometimes I think I'm dreaming at the bottom of a well. It's a clear day in Lubbock and it's colder than hell. The wind starts blowing, I hear my windows hum. A perfect storm is coming, no place for me to run. Big thunderhead is hiding behind that wall of brown. She ain't fooling no one, dusty devil on the ground.
Yeah.
Nice.
I apologize for playing that first. I know that sets the bar too high for the rest of you, but
Yeah.
Thought I was watching a Clint Eastwood movie.
Yeah.
Very Western.
I want to.
I kind of heard Roy Rogers in there somewhere.
No, Roy Rogers wasn't in there.
I heard Trigger.
Yeah.
He wasn't in there, but I want to show you the. I got to show you the background that the picture. See my background?
The
Yeah.
Dusty Devil. Yeah.
See if I can get it up there.
There it is. Whoa.
That's the. I was at an open mic the other day. Some guys up in Kansas City and somebody actually said, he said, "What's that picture behind you?" I said, "Well, that's Lubbock on a clear day." And then I started trying to write that song. I came up with the title. I had it's a clear day in Lubbock and a cold day in hell, and I couldn't make it work. But I came up with that other line, so I turned that into the bridge. So,
I've got all choked up from the dust you stirred up here in my living room.
well, anyway, I apologize for all that. But so, what do you think, Joe? You think
Mental imagery was strong.
You smoking, Bobby? No. Perry, I really like the song. Very Western, like Marty Robbins is what I think of Western. The Clint Eastwood movie. It's just got all kinds of imagery like you always got. I don't have much bad to say. When it got to the third verse, I wanted it to get to the bridge. And I thought, producer, since I couldn't see the second page, as I so often do, when people have three verses in a row and don't have a bridge, I make the third verse a bridge and do that. But then you got to the bridge, and there was a bridge, and I liked the bridge. There's a long way getting there. That would be, and then you didn't have a big chorus after it. So that was my only thought. It was a bit long in the tooth on the top end. But man, I like it. I think it's a good song. Great imagery, just like the picture that you showed. Not a lot I would do except that one comment I have that I really, when that third verse came along, I'm kind of. But then the bridge came right after this third verse, right? There was no chorus in there.
Yeah.
Correct.
Nope. Yeah.
So yeah, I think it works really well. I can't, I mean, man, I want to get it, but I don't have a lot of chops to take.
Okay.
How about you, Sam?
Well, a couple of suggestions. If you can go back to the first page a second.
You bet.
The one thing that hit me, I would suggest using a word other than forever, because it struck me as odd when you say I can see forever, and then you're immediately following that with the end is near. Forever is kind of an infinity word, whereas end is definitely the end. Maybe there's a more impactful word than forever, I can see my destiny when the end, or something like that, when the end is near, but just, maybe a more visual word than just forever that wouldn't conflict with the end. So that was my first thought.
Okay.
It's a good opportunity to put a really power word in there, I think.
Maybe I can't see forever.
Yeah, that could do the same thing. In the second verse, and I think it would sing okay if you did something like this. When you say words of Woody Guthrie, picture in my brain, you could say what I thought about was words of Woody Guthrie form a picture in my brain. It might, help
Just
draw.
go ahead. Yeah, just go ahead and say it. That's what I meant.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But it kind of hit me funny, and I thought maybe if you said that, that might help that.
Well, I'm still kind of wrestling with the phrasing and the singing and everything. That's why I got those lines in there. That's kind of where my one and my beat was downbeat was on.
Oh, and I agree with everybody. I could hear Waylon Jennings sing that song. I could hear Johnny Cash sing that song. This is really a neat song.
Well,
and then the last thing, I kind of agree with Joe, and it was kind of the bridge. I don't know that you even need that bridge there. It maybe you could take, those are great lines. Maybe you could just incorporate those into one of the verses. Or if you do the bridge, bring the bridge in a little bit earlier. And the key change kind of threw me a little bit, but it grew on me as you went.
It is kind of odd. Yeah.
But anyway, now I love those lines in the bridge, and either like Joe suggested, bring it in a little bit earlier rather than the third verse, and that might give you a little more flexibility to make a 4-line bridge instead of a 2-line bridge, taking some of the lines out of the third verse. I've done things like that before, where I've taken an extra verse and turned it into a solid bridge. So
it kind of came off to me at the end like an ending.
Yeah, exactly.
Consolidate the bridge and what comes after it as an ending.
Yeah.
Just ramp down. That would be cool.
Yep.
I agree.
You've got a lot of options there. So anyway, I love the song. I thought
Okay, thank you. Well, that's
Only question I have is on the the third verse, I guess, says 1,000 miles between us. That doesn't seem to. I don't get that. What does that mean? 1,000 miles between us.
well, it means there were 1,000 miles between us, and I could still hear the tornado.
Huh?
I looked from a long ways. It's a.
I don't know.
It's not literal.
Well, I know, but it's not literal, but the rest of the song is kind of literal. The building was my shelter, stood so straight and tall. Tornado could not kill it, twist, but never fall. Then 1,000 miles between us seems like what just happened. There's some kind of seems kind of off.
Does anyone else have a problem with that?
One of the things you could do with that, it took me a minute to understand what you were, at least my interpretation of it was, you were looking back on the experience. And when you say 1,000 miles between us, you might as well say, 1,000 years between us now, saying it happened before, and now I'm looking back on it. And maybe there's a couple more words to help explain that. That was my interpretation of it. I don't know if that's right or not. But that was
well, the whole song basically was looking back. When I had a job in New York City I was up there about 10 years, and I used to get homesick for a sandstorm. Really, I'd sit there and get homesick, and a lot of this was just nostalgic stuff, thinking about the sandstorm, but also trying to be descriptive. That picture was in my mind the whole time I was writing this song.
I want to see one of those cars spinning around in that picture.
Yeah, and also I was reading up on it. Back during the Dust Bowl days, the big dust storms were all result of northers. Those blue northers would come down, and you wouldn't see the blue norther till after the sand had gone. But the temperature could fall like in 50 degrees in a matter of 2 hours. Some it would be like 80 degrees in the morning and snowing at night and things like that sometimes with those blue northers. I don't know. Anyway, I really worked on this, and I need to give it some time, I think, sleep on it.
Well, I see what you mean now. When you say that building was my shelter, stood so straight and tall, tornado could not kill it. You're talking about you were in a building in New York. Is that
the building, the Great Plains Life in Lubbock, Texas, was visibly twisted by a tornado that came through.
You could take that line. You could say something like, 1,000 miles between, I still hear that eerie sound. Something like, or 1,000 miles away, I still hear that eerie sound. Something like that.
Well, that's basically, that's kind of what I meant there. I was just economizing on words.
I think it works pretty well the way you did it. I mean,
yeah. Yeah.
Everybody should have their own interpretation, right? Like Gigi said, she wants to imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anyway, appreciate y'all's comments. Let's listen
Cool.
to somebody song. Let's see. How do we get this enough here now? Okay. You gotta get back to the spot.
You could write a song, Dust Bowl in the Wind.
Did you ever read the book The Worst Hard Times?
No.
It's about the Oklahoma Dust Bowl and the big dust storm. It's a great book.
Okay, this is Michael Roth here.
All right.
Okay, let me get you. I'll try to do this justice, Michael, and not screw this up too much. He's got a great song.
Our love was blazoned on the streets in bold graffiti on the walls. Tougher than the rough concrete, louder than a wake-up call. Now up on stage with the lights ablaze, you even make the light look dark with your hand upon that empty space. Goaded by your savage heart amid the snakes of 1,000 wishes, you turn away from the angel choir, blowing kisses like a gun for hire, like a gun for hire, like a gun for hire. When fame drove up in a limo car, you dropped me like a cigarette. You pawned off all your love for art in the backseat of a private jet. Now up on stage with the lights ablaze, you even make the light look dark with your hand upon that empty space. Gutted by your savage heart amid the snakes of 1,000 wishes, you turn away from the angel choir, blowing kisses like a gun for hire, like a gun for hire, like a gun for hire. Although you have no use for me, your name is still carved on my wrist. Your shining face burns in my dreams. It only hurts me when you miss. Now up on stage with the lights ablaze, you even make the light look dark with your hand upon that empty space. Gutted by your savage heart amid the snakes of 1,000 wishes, you turn away from the angel choir, blowing kisses like a gun for hire, like a gun for hire, like a gun for hire.
Okay. Judges.
What do you think, Sam?
I love the song. I love the imagery in the song. My favorite line in the song is "amid the snakes of 1,000 wishes." I think that is so cool. It kind of reminds me of something I'd write in one of my deep, dark songs that people ask me if there's something wrong with me. I wrote one song called "Solitude Road." A guy said, "Great song. Are you okay?" But a couple of things I would suggest in the chorus. If you want to, you don't have to, obviously, but if you want to, you may want to look for another word other than light, since you've got light in 2 lines back to back. It kind of hit my ear. Maybe you could say in the second line, you even make the day look dark, something like that, because you've got lights ablaze in the line ahead of that. But, it doesn't really bother me having the light in the first 2 lines, but some people it bothers. So if it is something that bothers you, it's something you could look at. The the only other thing I would suggest is maybe the third verse. You could keep the same lines, but maybe do something with the melody and convert it into a bridge. You know, so you'd have verse, chorus, bridge, chorus. Same lyrics, just change the tune around a little bit to be a bridge melody instead of a verse melody. The one thing that got me was repeating like a gun for hire 3 times each chorus. That might be something you may want to wait until the last chorus to repeat it, a total of 3 times. But again, it's just me, just my own personal taste. Nothing wrong with it. It's just something that, you did that I wouldn't have thought to do. But I absolutely love this song. I love the imagery. I love the wording. And I think it's a great song.
And I always, repetition is something I don't do a lot. And I thought when I was, writing this, I thought, well, I should probably repeat the hell about it because that's
well,
that's
the good thing about repeating it is the name of the song, and so it does give you a good opportunity to repeat it. So it may be something you want to do anyway. Like I say, that was just a me thing. And that's one of the things they tell you in Nashville is always incorporate that song title. And if you can make that the last thing people hear, that's great.
Yeah.
I agree with that. Maybe repeat the gun for hire the last time. I as well like the song. I like the lyrics, great imagery. I mean, but the four line verse and the 8-line, 11-line chorus kind of threw me. And it's, I'm not saying don't do it, but there's ways to deal with it. There was too much chorus for me and not enough verse. So one thing you can do, or I like to do, and I suggest to my clients they do a lot, is cut the first chorus in half. And, and make it turn around back into the verse, and then save the second half of the chorus for the second and third time. Also was it a D minor?
Yeah, well, there's a D minor like blowing
into the second line or third line of the chorus. That kind of threw me. I don't know why. It just I thought there was better chord choices there, but that's just me. But if you could either put a couple of verses together and lose a chorus, or lose half of I think in this case, lose half of the first chorus, and then bring the Amid the Snakes of 1,000 Wishes in on the second chorus, kind of add some content and do that twice, it would balance it out a little better. Because it really is just, 3/4 of the song is listening to the chorus. The choruses are good, but just not enough verse there. I think making the third verse a bridge doesn't work for me because there's not enough verse. So I think you're going to run into the same problem with making the third, although I love to do that too. I would say, I'm not going to say how many times I say make the third verse a bridge when people don't write a bridge. But in this case, I just think you need to go a little less on the chorus heavy. So I would try to maybe do that, cut the first chorus in half, move into the second verse, and then kind of go on and lose the repeats, at least for the second chorus or the third chorus, because then that gives you an ending. And that takes you to nobody fades anymore. So if you save that repeating like a gun for hire to the third time, you're really getting an ending there, and it gives you a nice outro. Whereas if you do it the second time, you kind of blew your outro. But great imagery. I agree with the line about the snakes of 1,000 wishes. Yeah. Brings all my dark angels to bear. So that's take that for what it's worth.
No, I appreciate that. I had a lot of originally I had 2 verses and then a chorus and a verse and a chorus.
But looking at it, I love that treatment. When I think that the situation exists, but in this one, I don't think I would actually put the 2 verses together because it doesn't move well that way, because you get a nice image in each of the verses. So
It's
put
almost-
them together, kind of, maybe in this case, I don't know if it would work that well. But anyhow, great song. Except for that D minor. I think you got a better choice there. I could say what I think it might be, but I would just say it didn't lead my ears, voice leading in the right direction, just that one chord.
Can you think of what chord you would?
You know, I'd have to listen to it again and be glad to do that. Maybe we can do that another time. I heard one, but I couldn't think of what it was, and then I kind of lost track.
Okay.
But it just seemed like there's a better choice there. But that's just a tiny thing, you
I
know.
like it, yeah, but
It's not a guitar. But hey, that's just me, you know.
yeah. But no, you gotta like what people hear, you know, it's like you gotta get the feedback on this to know, because you can't tell from your own stuff. You know, you like everything you do. So,
And I find quarterly, I do so many songs, you know, and when something takes my ear afoul,
You want to listen to another verse? You want to listen to the verse?
Pardon?
You want to listen to part of it again for the chord?
Well, that's the chorus, I think.
It's in the chorus.
Yeah, if you want.
Yeah, let's do it. Oh, hang on. Lost it.
Our love was blazoned on the streets in bold graffiti on the walls. Tougher than the rough concrete, louder than a wake-up call. Now up on stage with the lights ablaze, you even make the light look dark with your hand upon that empty space. Goaded by your savage heart amid the snakes of 1,000 wishes, you turn away from the angel choir, blowing kisses like a gun for hire, like a gun for hire, like a gun for hire.
Did you get it?
Yeah, I mean, so it goes C, G to D minor, right?
right, D minor, A minor.
Could it be maybe a B type thing? I kind of lost it again because it kept going and I couldn't stop and think about it. But maybe a B chord, some kind of B. And then after that, it goes to a C, G, and da 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 da. But yeah, that D just still took me in a weird place.
Yeah, maybe F.
Da, 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 da. Well, yeah, you probably have to change the melody then if you went to
Right.
C, G to the F, it went down. I love your voice though, man. You got that nice low voice.
Maybe just leave out the D minor and just go to the A minor.
I like the D.
Yeah,
I could try that. I'll play with it.
You could hang on the G extra and go to the A minor.
Okay.
But I don't know. That was just a little thing that got me. But good song, man.
Okay.
To hire you to sing some low songs.
There you go, Michael. That's a good song. Great. Okay, now then we got lipstick and bullets. Alan Larson.
Oh yeah, I like that song.
Yeah. Here we go. Get this over here, and I'll get that up there as soon as I get this song going. Okay.
Daisy's got drama with her mama and a man with a mullet. She prances through the big box store and buys lipstick and bullets. She got me running down old friends, running down her promises of heaven around the bend. I want to fly away. It's all gone crazy. Take me miles away and find a place a licking. I jump in my pickup, has big red lips, and takes her shots at me. But my boots are shaking, or is that the ground below? I'm so rattled, I can't tell for sure anymore. I want to fly away, escape the crazy, get miles away from where it all went wrong. Man in the suit, he smiles as he hands me a check. Says, don't you worry, boy, there's no reason to fret. I got holes in my pocket, holes in the back of my jeans. I got a hole in the ground where my water comes out. Now it burns like kerosene. I want to fly away. It's all gone crazy, take me miles away and find a place where I belong. I want to fly away, escape the crazy, go miles away from where it all went wrong.
Cool song, man. I love the timing on the chorus. I don't know what you did, added a beat, bar or a beat, but it works really good for me.
Cool.
It's kind of throwing me having the chords in the middle of the lyrics. That threw me for a second. I probably wouldn't do that if I sent it to somebody else. I would make, I got holes in my pocket, holes in the back of my jeans. I would really go for a bridge there. Just, you know, total departure and then back to the chorus. Not with the words, but I would try to get into just a whole different space. And the words can take you to a different place. But other than that, I mean, I like it. I like the story. I like the problem with the mullet in the back, the bullets, and then takes her shots at me. You know, there's some nice kind of story along the way. But I would go for a bridge where I got holes in my pockets, easy to do, some kind of departure, and then maybe I would make the instrumentals between half as long, or at least one or two of them.
So you're saying use the lyrics about the holes in the pocket and jeans
Just take a total
as a bridge, or
as a bridge, and just go to all different chords, and then back to the chorus, and make that half a verse, and then go to a bridge. That would excite me more at the end of the song, and then go to the chorus. You had an ending working, but then it didn't matter. I was hearing an ending at the last chorus there somewhere.
yeah.
But that didn't matter. And some of the instruments just got a little long for me. Although they're nice, you know, with melody,
Yeah.
it's all really good.
There's just a little guitar interlude between each verse, and
I would try to do it
second and
maybe.
third, I just threw in some guitar licks.
I think it's just a little long, or too many of them, or maybe just make one or two of them 2 bars. But I like the way you did the melody and the interlude between, instead of like playing a solo. You know, it's very thematic, programmatic actually is what it is.
Yeah.
And so man, I like it, and I love the chorus.
Yeah. Michael just sent a note about it. I've got some chords in my lyric chart there. I'm sorry I didn't take those out. I was lazy, but I just put chords sometimes when I'm, I can't remember my own lyrics. So if I can't remember exactly how to space or place the words as I play the song, sometimes I stick a few random chords. So,
because when I first looked at it, I saw, I want to FCG fly away. That sounds really nasty.
yeah, no, I find myself singing the chorus wrong words. It's just, I got off. So anyway,
you just got to lose those
right there where I remember when I do sing, and especially I haven't sung it in a while.
And I can tell you're conflicted because you just said, yeah, no, no, okay. But anyhow, great song, man. Sam, what do you think?
First, I would title it "Fly Away" because that's really the focus of the song, not the lipstick and bullets. Although I love the imagery of the lipstick and bullets, you don't mention it after the first verse, but you hear "Fly Away" over and over and over again. So I would call it "Fly Away." And what I'm about to say, Alan, is actually a compliment. I have listened to some songs done by Townes Van Zandt that when I hear the song, I have no idea what he's talking about, but I love the song. I'm really not sure what you're saying in this story, but I love the song. It started off, it kind of started off third person, and I could picture Daisy's getting ready to go kill the man with the mullet because he's done her mama wrong. And then it switched to first person, and then I finally think maybe Daisy's gunning for me. I'm not sure, but none of that really mattered to me because I love the song. Does that make sense?
I didn't do that. It just happened.
No, do you understand what I'm saying? It's one of those songs that I could probably listen to several times. Well, hey, that's a cool song. Not exactly sure what they're saying, but I love that song.
Well,
it took me a year to learn what Hotel California was about, so that's where I'm coming from with this. So.
Yeah,
you can explain it to me.
I will tell you the stabbed it with their Steely knives was a cut. It's Steely Dan because Steely Dan, they were as big as the Eagles.
Did you ever hear what what's name said about the lyrics, Steely Dan? They who am I thinking of? The lyric writer. They asked him, well, what does it all mean? He said, it doesn't mean shit. It's cool. I just remember seeing that and just going, okay, that makes total sense to me.
But what I was going to say, Alan, is I love the style of the song. It's just one of those. Ooh, that's a cool song.
Whoop. Yeah, I was just saying. You got me. Yeah, I've always been a big fan of Dylan's songwriting where you don't know exactly what he's talking about, but they're just kind of cool images.
Yeah.
And I've told a story about, I used to work at Walmart in the sporting goods. One day this couple came up and rang up lipstick and bullets. And I thought, there's a song title or song there. And that's why I've just kind of stuck with that as a title. But yeah, I think I've sometimes write it down as lipstick and bullets in parentheses, fly away. Or maybe I should do it the opposite. But yeah, I mean, I understand that point too. But I was just kind of.
There's a lot of songs called "Fly Away." I've heard at least
exactly.
I've heard a song called "Lipstick and Bullets," and that certainly drives me more better.
That's another argument for sticking with lipstick and bullets. But yeah, no, I just this couple. I just kind of imagined their life, although they look like nice people that weren't crazy, having crazy lives like the people in my song. But I just kind of invented some people and my last verse. At the time I'd seen a lot of news stories about the effect of fracking and chemicals in the water and people's wells, and their water catches on fire. So that's a hole in my pocket, hole in the ground. My water comes out, it burns like kerosene.
You got an F hole in the ground where my seawater comes out. See, that sounds nasty too, man.
Oh yeah, no, that's a chord.
Yeah.
Sorry, next
Well,
time I'll try to.
I have one question for Alan. I was like, I loved it. I was so taken by the story until I got to the man in the suit, and I didn't have a clue what you were talking about.
Yeah, that may be a little obscure, but it goes back to the fracking thing. There were, stories in the news at the time about the gas companies going around and paying people big money to let them, drill, frack on their land, and then the result was their water basically got poisoned. That they, their water supply.
Light up the water coming out of the tap.
Yeah. You've seen stories where they hold a match up to the tap water and it catches on fire.
Yeah.
Well, maybe those verses
So that's what I was
ought to be reversed.
Huh?
Maybe those verses ought to be reversed then.
Yeah, I've done it both ways. Put the other verse first and then this. Yeah. Then I thought, no, maybe it'd be cool to end with the lines about holding a pocket and ground and blah blah. But anyway, yeah, that maybe that would make a little more sense to the listener to reverse it.
Good job.
Lipstick and Bullets makes a lot more sense today than it did probably when you wrote the song. Yeah, that could be the new normal.
Yeah.
I would drop the fracking thing and make it into a deadly love triangle. That's what I thought it was. That's what I thought it was when I heard it.
Yeah, that's what I thought at first.
Yeah, when you say lipstick and bullets and she got me running, I thought you were talking about the girl with the lipstick and bullets. So I
I'm
hoping to hear more about lipstick and bullets.
And I thought the holes were about bullet holes, and as he's dying,
well, yeah. It was my thought was just he's got all tangled up with this crazy woman that's got him running all these wild errands, and he just.
So who is she then? Who is she? She got me running. Who is she? Who is that?
The crazy woman buying lipsticks.
Well, it sounds like you're talking about somebody else, but it sounds like she got me running. Like you're involved with her.
You make up your own story there.
Yeah. But there's nothing about fracking in this, and I like the idea of it. You're like your girlfriend, or girls, she's taking you around, and then she ends up killing you with her boyfriend.
Oh,
I would put at the end, last verse, I would say I got a hole in the ground where my blood runs out.
Oh yeah, my goodness.
That's what I would do.
Well, I'll think about all these. Maybe I'll do some editing on it.
Woo!
Alan, I admire your right brain. I think that's where all that came from.
I guess so.
Yeah. Okay, we got one more song, folks.
All right.
We got Kerry Maddox, and he's got Winds of Change, I believe is what that is. Let me get the document up there. Get rid of this thing. Okay, get the MP3 going.
Why does it keep saying the show must be paused? Black Lives Matter.
What? What did you say?
Every time it comes off the screen, it says the show must be paused. Black Lives Matter.
Oh, yeah,
That's what I'm seeing on my screen anyway.
yeah.
I saw that.
What do you think, Sam?
Well, first of all, I love the song. I will tell you, one of my favorite parts of the song is when you go to the chorus. I love the structure of the chorus, the little change as you go into the chorus. It hits me just the right way. I love the notes and everything you put into that. And I will tell you, I am not a notician. I'm more of a lyricist, but I really like the way that sounded to my ear. A couple of things I would just suggest that, it sounds like this is a good demo, by the way. This is a very good demo. So I don't know if you want to make any changes to it or not, but if you do, one of the things I would suggest, if I had been co-writing with you on this, I would have made two changes that are both the same change, but in two different places, in verse 1 and verse 3. To catch the ear a little bit better, I would have said wind blows cold against my face instead of cold wind blows against my face, because that's something that's said a little bit differently and it's going to catch your ear. Wind blows cold against my face. And then in the same thing, verse 3, nights blow storms through all our lives. I think it's a different way of saying the same thing, and it's just a little bit more of an attention type thing with the wording. So those, and I think that was the only suggestions I had. I love the verses. I love the chorus. I love the way it sounds. I love the message. It's cool.
Thanks, Sam. Yeah, and those those are good suggestions. Sometimes you get a little literal, right? Versus trying to create the imagery.
Yeah, I had somebody. I one of the first songs I ever wrote. I just loved the song. I loved the song, and then took it up to Nashville and had. Matter of fact, it was Lance Carpenter who listened to it, and he told me, he said, flip out your first two lines, make your second line your first line, and make your first line your second line. I said, why? He said, your second line grabs my attention. So that was the first person who told me you look for ways to really grab attention with your first line. And I think that would be a neat way of doing it, is just saying the exact same thing, but changing the order of the words so it kind of catches your ear a little bit different. It's almost like an old English way of saying, or a stage way. Wind blows cold against my face. You know how an actor would say it on stage. Right. So I think it would be a neat little effect.
Yeah.
Kyrie eleison. The wind blows cold. There's a secret to my soul.
There you go. There you go. Your turn, Joe.
Okay. I think it's a good effort. I gotta say, it just didn't move me. It all sounded kind of a little old school, which is cool. And I mean, it's a good song, but there's just nothing in there that took me to any place new. Nothing caught me and go, oh, here's a song that I haven't heard before. But it's a good song. But just for me, I mean, as a publisher, I didn't feel like I heard anything that I hadn't heard before. So that's kind of cruel and harsh. But if there was just something that would have just pulled me out and say, this is like, but I just didn't get that from this. But it was a good demo. It's a good song, So I mean, I got nothing bad to say about it, but it just didn't move me per se. And for whatever that's worth, I wouldn't change anything. I don't have any criticism of it per se, and it's all well done. But I just didn't get a spark. So sorry about that.
No, that's perfectly valid. That's you guys said kind of the same thing about the last song I submitted. There wasn't anything that just reached out and grabbed you. And I've been thinking about. There was a book recommended to me called Your Music or Your Brain on Music, and it talks about it's supposed to talk about bringing out the emotion and evoking some sort of emotional response out of people. And I tried to do that with this song, you know, when we wrote it, you know, trying to bring out some imagery and some emotions that kind of pushed people back to their past, you know. So yeah, I mean, that's perfectly good feedback, Joe. I mean, I really, I'm trying to work on, you know, what's that emotional grab that you can do, or how can you take somebody on that emotional ride, right?
I could say something else. I mean, you know, you're almost, I mean, you're really good at doing this. And I just wonder if you sit down when you write your song, you should start with that spark, because your tradecraft, and I deal in tradecraft, you know, 60 hours a week. Everything is good, you know, but that original, what made you write that song to begin with, were it not you're just sitting down to write another good song, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Maybe there's a way to step back a couple of layers from your talent and draw on, you know, something. I always like to say, I look at songs like a second grader if I'm on my best day. And maybe just need a little more second grade when you start the song, because obviously once you start, it's going to finish and it's going to be good, you know. And but just that's that second grade thing. That's my mantra. It's like if I now that I've gone through 40 years of songwriting and thousands of songs written and produced, I try to like jump all the way back to what got me started, or what was that first buzz that just made me go, oh, this is really cool. And, you know, because since I'm pretty handy with songs, sometimes I'll just sit down and whip one out for somebody else. And then I go, you know, I need to get back to that second grader that's at that whatever it is. But so it's just maybe one suggestion in the way you go about starting.
Yeah.
But, you know, when you're good, it all just happens. It's like, huh?
Cool.
Okay.
Thank you.
I had just one thing I wanted to say. Sometimes when I write a song and it doesn't seem to work, or doesn't seem to go where I want it to go, or have a thing, you know, I'll change the rhythm, I'll change the groove, I'll change, you know, completely, you know, just come up with some other type of rhythm, just for shits and grins, you know, just to see. Or, you know, one time I changed the perspective of the story from a third person to a first person. Just play around with stuff like that. It might change the whole character of the song, you know. It might give it a whole new life if you just try a different rhythm, or try a different, you know, speed it up, you know, slow it down.
Yeah, that's one thing we were thinking about for this song, is bumping the tempo on it.
Yeah, you might bump it up quite a bit, you know.
But that's more of an arrangement thing than necessarily a songwriting thing.
Yeah, but it gives it a whole other character when you do that.
A little more energy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But the better you get at production, and the better you get at recording, and all the skills that you get, the more that presents itself. That you know, you can take anything and make it good and make it work, and you know, and sometimes you have to do that. But then it's that initial just spark that maybe needs to happen, is you don't, instead of making it work, just make that blow you away and then start from there, you know. And of course this might have happened and I might be way off base, but you're really good, so you know, it's like, what the hell, man? You know, but I find as a person who does this 24 hours a day, that can be a little bit of a pitfall sometimes, you know, being skilled at stuff.
I'm too technical, because I'm a technical person all the time. I think that's what that's what comes out of my songwriting a lot of times. It's too technical, and that's why. So my songwriting partner on this, Eddie, you know, because I'm not a great singer, right? So he's a much better singer, and he kind of honed the melodies, and we've been talking about speeding it up and trying to find, you know, kind of the more push to it, you know, kind of thing. But
you know, the way I got into songwriting, I was in television news for 25 years, so I was always telling stories. And when I took this job with AP and sales, suddenly I wasn't telling stories anymore. And that's how I got into songwriting. So for me, the first question, well, I won't necessarily say the first question, but the primary question I always ask in a song is, what's the story? What am I trying to say? And I may not ask myself that until I get to the end of a song, because sometimes I'll start writing a song and I have no idea what it is I'm trying to say. But the key is that when I finish the song, can I answer that question? You know, what am I trying to say with the song? What's the message in the song? And there have been many times where I'll write a song that I thought was pretty good, and then I get back and I ask myself that, and wait, there's no message in this song. You know, I wrote one song I was trying to write about all the things I saw in a bar in South Texas. And when I finished writing, I looked at it. I said, "This is crap. This is no story." I said, "That was just a little bar." Well, that's when the light bulb went off, and then I completely rewrote the song, and called it "Just a Little Bar," and then I really liked it. So.
All right. Well, I
Is
think
that it?
we've had a lot of fun here tonight.
What are you eating, Harry?
Good information, good song.
My wife just set a bowl of grapes on the desk for me.
How sweet. Good wife.
Yeah, they're good
All
grapes.
right. Well, does anybody have any more comments, questions?
I have a comment.
Yes.
One of, if not the saddest story, and I should write a song about it first, but I'm just going to put it out there. What I heard today, in many ways, impacted me more than all the stuff that's been going on the last couple of weeks or the last week. And it was that Legos is going to pull, and they have 20 building kits. They have fire engines, and policemen and firemen, and all these things. It's a big part of their entire line of toys. And Legos is now going to pull all the fire trucks, ambulances, policemen, firemen, criminals. They have a couple of criminal things, but maybe I can understand that. But they're pulling the firemen out and the paramedics out of their Lego kits. And that saddened me beyond what I can even say. That seemed just so deep to me. Anyhow, there's a song in there I'll probably sit up tonight and write it because I only heard it today. But I thought,
Crazy.
man,
John.
that's impactful to me.
That's crazy. I'm mad.
That's on a level that is so much deeper to me that it really just blew me away. Anyhow.
Well, that was a nice note, Joe.
It's been
Thanks, Joe.
Somebody go write a song.
Yeah, Joe.
It's been 30-something years since the Rodney King thing, and here we are. Right?
I was living in LA.
Thing in 30 freaking years, we haven't learned anything. So, you know.
I was living in LA when Rodney King happened. Remember seeing the troops up on Fairfax? Might have been Fairfax and 3rd driving up there, and there was like a bunch of army trucks, and it's like, whoa.
Yeah,
like,
you were there during Rodney King, weren't you, Joe?
Yeah, I lived there.
Yeah, I was there too.
I'm saying I remember driving up Fairfax and seeing the troops. It's like, holy shit, you know,
right.
New Mexico
It looked like Beirut. We came out of our office building, had to go home, and all these plumes of smoke everywhere and fires and shit. I mean, it was crazy. And here we are again. I you know.
My husband was a firefighter and pulled people out of buildings and out of underneath water and all kinds of things. And we have a building in downtown Wiley, and there's a mural on the side of it. And I asked them to put one of the things that was in the picture of him in his fire uniform. And they're going to have this Sunday, they're going to have a peaceful protest right by our building. And I'm holding my breath, you know. I'm holding my breath. It's just, the building was just remodeled.
Yeah.
Well, anyhow, I didn't mean to bring everybody down, but somebody take that and run with it. And it goes back to what I was talking to you about the second grader and that spark. I mean, that hit me so hard. Like, and it's like these days for me to pen a song, you know, when I'm working on everybody else's, something's got to hit me like really hard, and that hit me really hard. And there is some great thing in that will come out
Yeah, and that's a good point, Joe, because I've got some stuff like that, but because of the emotion involved that evoked it, it's almost too hard to finish writing the song or even want to record it, but it could be some of the best songs I've ever written. So I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to dig deep and pull those out and just do them. Right. Because that's what you're talking about, is finding that deep emotion that makes you tear up when you think about it, or makes you angry when you think about it, or right.
Or
And that's
makes you happy, or something that's just quirky. It
Yeah.
doesn't have to be the deep thing like the Legos. But I mean, I wrote a song about, I saw a thing about a guy in war, I guess he was in Iraq. And, his wife, he sent him divorce papers and he was out in the desert. And that hit me really hard. I wrote a song about that didn't used to happen, but it does now. But I mean, it can be just the quirkiest little thing, or the happiest little thing, or just the odd little thing like lipstick and bullets. Then you go, well, what's that? Something that just catches. But I mean, it can be light. It doesn't have to be heavy. I brought everybody down after that. But it can be just the silliest little thing. I just wrote a song called "Canned or Frozen," about coming home and having nothing to eat. And it's gonna be a great song. But I remember coming home when I was young, and God, I'm looking at, what am I gonna eat? Is that a can, or there's just something frozen? And there's a whole big song in that. So anyhow, but that's happy.
Well, you've made us think, Joe, and that's what we need to do is think.
Yes.
And here's something everybody could go do right now. Is 9:38. The International Space Station will be flying overhead
In 2 minutes.
Oh, we gotta go look.
Yep.
9:38, isn't it?
Bye bye.
I'm off.
Thanks,
All right.
everybody. You've been wonderful.
Great. Thank you, guys. Thank you, Sam. Thank you.
Adios.
All right.
Adios.
bye-bye.
Look
Adios.
forward to the next one.
Adios.
Hasta banana.
Hasta la vista, or whatever.
Ciao.
Senorita.